disappearance was the ultimate puzzle for his fans to solve.
It would definitely be a fitting end to this whole saga, wouldn't it?
It would leave us with more questions than answers.
And a story that's shrouded in mystery.
So what's the takeaway from all of this? What can we learn from James Holzier?
I think his story shows us how powerful the internet can be.
For good and for bad.
Yeah, it can connect people, build communities, and give people a voice.
But it can also be used to deceive, to create fake personas, and manipulate others.
It makes you think about what's real and what's not online.
Yeah, like where's the line between authenticity and fabrication?
That line gets blurrier and blurrier every day.
Especially now with everyone trying to be an influencer.
Right, everyone's trying to build their own online identity.
Whether it's real or not.
Exactly.
Like James Holzier was ahead of his time.
A pioneer of the digital age.
Maybe he was trying to warn us?
About the dangers of online fame and fake identities.
It's a valuable lesson.
Especially now.
So maybe somewhere out there, James Holzier is watching.
Seeing how his story continues to fascinate people.
Maybe he's even laughing.
Who knows?
But until he decides to come forward and tell his side of the story,
we'll keep searching for answers.
Maybe one day those lost films will resurface.
Dreams in the Attic. Willie the Hitman.
And they'll give us a glimpse into the real James Holzier.
The man behind the mask.
Until then, the deep dive continues.
Mysterious is right.
Yeah, I was poking around on mentcelebs.com and
oh yeah.
His name was right there at the top of the top 25 list.
Wow.
Which I found a bit surprising because I have to admit I'd never heard of him before.
I haven't either, actually.
But as I dug a little deeper, I found all these fan sites.
Oh, real?
News articles, even a deleted Wikipedia article that somehow came back to life 20 years later.
Oh, wow.
It's a really strange mix of sources. And the more I read, the more intrigued I became.
I bet. It sounds like we've got a really interesting deep dive ahead of us.
Yeah, so let's jump right into it. So first off, these fan sites are, well, there's something else.
Oh, I can imagine. What are they like?
Take my James Holzier, for example. I mean, the devotion is palpable. They're planning a whole James Holzier London day, and one fan even wrote, "He is just like us and makes me believe in myself."
Oh, that's sweet. I mean, it's quite common for fans to connect with celebrities on a personal level, projecting their own aspirations and desires onto them. That quote really highlights that longing for relatability, that feeling of, he's one of us. It's a powerful tool for building a loyal fan base.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And they're just desperate for any little piece of information about him. The site even have this plea. If you have any pictures, any info, anything to everything on James Holzier, even who he's dating, anything to everything, tell us.
Wow. Anything to everything, huh? That's a little intense.
It is a little intense, isn't it? Like, where do you draw the line?
Right. I mean, I guess it's nice that they're so passionate.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's great that he inspires that kind of passion, but it does make you question, how healthy that level of investment can be. And then you have another fan site called I Love James Holzier, where they're sharing trivia, like his favorite color and the fact that he wears boxers.
Okay, so we're getting into some personal territory now.
Yeah, and this is where things start to get a little messy. Yeah, because you start to see these inconsistencies between the fan-generated content and more official sources, like his birth year, for instance. It's all over the map.
No kidding.
No. Some sites say 1981, others 1982, even 1984 and 1986.
Well, that's a pretty big discrepancy. It makes you wonder if this is just a case of early online information being inaccurate or if there's something more deliberate going on. Maybe a way to maintain an air of mystery.
It's possible. And then, of course, we have the whole Wikipedia saga.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that. That sounds pretty wild.
So there was a Wikipedia article about him back in 2004, but it got deleted. Then, fast forward 20 years, someone named Paulina Holzier, maybe a relative, resurrects the article.
So why was it deleted in the first place?
Well, that's the thing. It suggests that back in 2004, he didn't meet Wikipedia's notability criteria.
Makes sense. Wikipedia is pretty strict about that kind of thing. So what happened with Paulina in the article?
Okay, so she tries to add information about Anoko Piralis and this Twitter thread about the Matthew community, but a Wikipedia admin blocks her, calling it all utter bullcrap.
Wait a minute, utter bullcrap. What is all that about? It sounds like we've got a conspiracy brewing here.
Right. And to make things even murkier, there are rumors that the deletion discussion page might have been blanked.
Whoa. Okay, that is strange. Wikipedia is all about transparency, so that's a pretty big red flag. Makes you wonder who's trying to control the narrative here.
Exactly. It's like we're piecing together a puzzle where some of the pieces are deliberately missing.
It is. So we've got these fan sites that are full of adoration and devotion, but they're also riddled with these inconsistencies. And then we've got this Wikipedia situation, which is just a whole other level of strange. What does it all mean?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out, right? So next up, let's take a look at some of the sources that paint James Holzier as this rising star, this
what?
This like Hollywood heartthrob on the verge of superstardom.
Okay, but we know he's not exactly a household name, right? So how do these sources reconcile that?
Well, that's the interesting part. Muno.com, for example, they describe him as one of the hottest, fan-sought-after actors on the planet. They even say he's been listed among the biggest hunks, most internationally loved stars and pop stars of the world.
Hold on. Pop stars of the world. Is he a singer too?
It doesn't seem like it. At least I couldn't find any evidence of a music career. It's almost like they're just throwing out these superlatives.
To create buzz.
Yeah, to create buzz and hype.
Which, you know, is a pretty standard tactic in the entertainment industry.
Right. And then we have Gossip Vita, which mentions paparazzi following him. And there are several sources that claim his upcoming movie, Live for Us, is going into production. They even talk about appearances on Entertainment Tonight and The Insider.
Interesting. Those appearances would definitely lend some credibility to his rising stardom. Did you manage to find any recordings or transcripts of those appearances? Or any significant media coverage from back then?
I tried, but I couldn't find anything concrete. Just these passing mentions. And, it's worth noting that a lot of the sources that are pushing this rising star narrative are fan sites or these lesser-known online publications.
Right. So it begs the question, are we dealing with a genuine surge in popularity or a carefully orchestrated campaign to create that impression?
Exactly. And you know what else is interesting? Several sources, mainly the fan sites, they really emphasize his high ranking on mencelebs.com, which, let's be honest, isn't exactly the gold standard of success.
It's not like winning an Oscar, that's for sure. But then you also mentioned something about Alt Film Guide, which seems like a more credible source. What did they have to say?
Yeah, Alt Film Guide is generally considered pretty reliable when it comes to independent film news. They reported that he was in negotiations for a lead role in a thriller called Playing the Card, and they even provided a synopsis of Live for Us.
Okay, so that does lend some weight to the claims that he has these upcoming projects. But, we still need to maintain a healthy level of skepticism. There's always the possibility of exaggeration or strategic information placement, even with a source like Alt Film Guide.
Absolutely. So we've got this fascinating mix of fan adoration, these questionable claims of fame, and some hints of a career that might be on the rise. But to really understand the James Holzier enigma, we need to dig deeper.
Deeper into what?
Well, into the man behind the hype. And that's where a website called Mahalo.com comes in. They've got these anecdotes about his near-death experiences, surviving a fire accident, falling from a roof, even flatlining as a child. It's pretty dramatic stuff.
Wow. It sounds like he's had quite a life. Though, those stories do sound a bit too good to be true, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get that. It does feel a little like those sensationalized stories that you often see online, designed to heighten the intrigue.
Right. So it makes you wonder if they've been embellished over time, either intentionally or unintentionally.
Yeah, that's always a possibility. But even if we take those stories with a grain of salt, they do add to the mystery, don't they? And then scattered throughout these sources, you find these quotes that offer glimpses into his personality and values. Like he's quoted as saying, "I'm not the type who sits back and accepts life." And in another, "It's all of the decisions you make." And then there's this one, "I just think any of us can do anything."
Those are interesting, especially when you consider them in the context of his supposed near-death experiences. It's almost like he's using those experiences to fuel a message of empowerment, of self-belief. But again, we have to ask ourselves, are these genuine expressions of his worldview, or are they carefully crafted sound bites designed to cultivate a certain public image?
Right. It's a great question, and it's one that we're going to explore in more depth in part 2 of this deep dive.
It's funny, we've spent all this time talking about James Holzier, but we still don't really know who he is.
It's true. We've got all this online chatter, these fan sites, these claims of rising stardom, and yet he remains this elusive figure.
Exactly. He's not a household name, at least not that we know of. It's almost like he exists in this digital bubble, fueled by dedicated fans, but without any real mainstream recognition.
Yeah, it's a really interesting phenomenon, isn't it?
Yeah.
It speaks to the changing nature of fame in the internet age.
Yeah.
Like, it's no longer solely dictated by box office numbers or appearances on late night talk shows. The internet has created these new avenues for achieving recognition, even if it's on a smaller, more niche scale.
Definitely. And in Holzier's case, it seems like he's achieved a certain level of micro fame cultivated through those fan sites and online publications. But the question is, what does that mean for his career in the long run? Is this a stepping stone to something bigger, or is it a separate path altogether?
It's a great question, and I think it's one that a lot of aspiring artists and entertainers are grappling with today. Like, the traditional gatekeepers of Hollywood have less power than they used to, but the internet, while offering these new opportunities, also presents its own set of challenges.
For sure. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? On one hand, you have the potential to reach a global audience without the need for, like, studio backing or a big budget marketing campaign. But on the other hand, it's incredibly easy to get lost in the noise.
It is. It's like, how do you stand out in this ever-expanding digital crowd? And with someone like James Holzier, where the information is so fragmented, so often contradictory, it becomes even harder to know what's real and what's manufactured. It makes you question, like, what does it even mean to make it in Hollywood these days?
Right. Is it about name recognition, box office receipts, critical acclaim, or is it something else entirely? Is it possible to achieve success and fulfillment within a niche community, even if that success doesn't translate to mainstream recognition?
I think so. I think we're seeing more and more examples of that, especially as the definition of fame continues to evolve. But let's bring it back to James Holzier for a moment. We've talked about the inconsistencies, the Wikipedia saga, the claims of his rising stardom. Now let's try to get a better sense of who he is as a person, if we can.
Okay, yeah. If we strip away the fan adoration, the possibly exaggerated claims, what are we left with?
Well, it's like we're piecing together this puzzle with half the pieces missing. We have these glimpses into his personality, his values, those near-death experiences.
Don't forget about those near-death experiences. They're pretty hard to ignore. I mean, falling from a roof, a fire accident, flatlining as a child, that's some pretty intense stuff. Although, I have to say, the way those experiences are presented, it almost feels too dramatic, too convenient.
I know, right? Like, it's almost like those too good to be true stories that you see online, you know?
Yeah.
It's a little too perfect for the narrative.
Exactly. So while it's possible that those events happened, I think it's fair to wonder if they've been embellished over time, whether intentionally or not.
It's possible. And then, you have those quotes that we talked about earlier. I am not the type who sits back and accepts life. It's all in the decisions you make. I just think any of us can do anything. They all contribute to this image of him as this resilient, self-made man. But again, are these genuine expressions of his personality, or are they just carefully crafted sound bites meant to create a specific image?
It's so hard to tell, because in today's media landscape, image is everything. And especially for someone like James Holzier, who seems to be deliberately cultivating this air of mystery.
Oh, it's almost like we're being asked to believe in a myth, a story that's been meticulously created for us. Like, is this the real James Holzier or just a carefully constructed persona?
It's the question we all have to grapple with these days, isn't it? As consumers of information, I mean, we're constantly bombarded with different narratives, with competing versions of the truth. It's up to us to be critical thinkers, to question what we see and hear.
Exactly. So let's think about this. What if James Holzier is, in fact, a meticulously crafted fabrication? Like, what if there's this whole team of PR gurus behind the scenes, pulling strings, manipulating information, creating this illusion of fame?
It's not outside the realm of possibility. I mean, think about reality TV, for example. Those careers are often built on carefully constructed personas.
Right. It's like they're playing characters, these carefully curated versions of themselves designed to appeal to a certain audience. And with Holzier, the inconsistencies, the Wikipedia situation, it all points to a possible attempt to control the narrative.
For sure. But what if it's not that? What if it's not some grand deception? What if James Holzier is actually a genuine talent who, for whatever reason, just hasn't broken through to the mainstream yet?
That's an interesting thought. What if those fan sites, those devoted supporters, are seeing something that the rest of us haven't? Like, what if he is this hidden gem, this diamond in the rough, just waiting for his moment to shine?
It's a romantic notion, isn't it? The undiscovered artist toiling away in obscurity, just waiting for the right opportunity. And makes you wonder, what is it about Holzier that resonates so deeply with those fans? What have they seen in him that inspires such loyalty and devotion?
Right. Is it his authenticity? his underdog status.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the very mystery that surrounds him, the unanswered questions, the gaps in his story. Whatever it is, it's clear that they believe in him.
They do. And that belief is a powerful thing. I mean, it's a testament to the power of fandom, the way that a dedicated community can elevate someone to a certain level of fame, even without mainstream recognition.
Absolutely.